Hello. I always love when you wear that shirt.
Oh, have I worn it before? I try to be good about not wearing the same thing in the same book, but there's 30 chapters, so.
Lucky you. I don't know if I have enough at this point in time. I don't have enough clothes to do that. Like I was looking at one of the old episodes and I wore this.
Well, yeah, because it's rare for you to wear clothes because you're a nudist at home.
Yeah, that's why.
In case people don't know.
I actually did have the thought that I was like, I do really like wearing sweatshirts and that's nice and all, but I was like, I need to get some like cozy, because obviously when we're recording, we're just sitting here. For me, I'm like, I would like to just be as comfortable as I can be. But I'm like, I can wear something comfortable that's like also like a little bit more cute in the winter. Yeah. Like it's easy to just, for me, I'll just be like, oh, just put on a sweatshirt because that's comfy. But
I do full like RuPaul, so I have like everything up here looks good, and then I'm just wearing like loose sweatpants on the bottom. So.
I wear like pajama pants or sweatpants when we're recording as much as I can. I'm wearing jeans today, but that's unusual. This week we read chapter, in the notes it says 2120. This week we read chapter 21 called The Unknowable Room. Adam, what happens in this chapter?
In this chapter, there is an apparition test to prepare for, and Harry figures out where Draco's going.
Yeah, sure.
That's it. Which we figured out chapters ago.
Ages ago. Yeah, I think that this is actually one of the shorter chapters of this book. It was only like 36 minutes. This is one of the
shorter chapters, and next chapter is like really starts getting in, like we start streaking toward the end at that point. This is definitely, next one is after the burial. So it's when he gets the memory. So this one is such a transitional chapter between like the second act and the third act of this book that I was almost like, you could skip this chapter and nothing changes about the book. Like genuinely, like you learn Draco's thing and then that, and like the fun about Polyjuice Potion, I guess, but like it does not change the plot in any way, shape, or form.
No, not really. Just that discovery.
Yeah, this is like the least notes I've taken, especially like previously from the chapters that I've done.
Quick one. Yeah.
So 20-minute app. Let's go.
Set that timer.
Okay, so the chapter starts and Hermione is like, oh, Harry doesn't know how he has to get the memory. Now he's like got a fire under his ass because Dumbledore was like, you got to get the memory, and he was like, I got to get the memory.
Although I feel like still not as much as it should be.
No.
I was like, you really gave him that speech about like, I'll really make it a priority, sir, I promise. And I was like, and yet,
and then he just follows Malfoy around in this chapter.
Yeah.
So he's like, how do I get this? Let me do what I've done recently and just pore over the advanced potion making textbook, because I'm sure the prince has something to share about how to extract a memory from someone without them knowing. He doesn't. Spoiler alert.
Why would you think that though? Like just because he does have some,
he's out of ideas.
Yeah, desperation. Yeah.
It's actually funny to me that he doesn't think about what he ends up using to get
for so long
the memory.
Yeah.
Because it would be one thing if he won it and then he just put it in his bag and forgot about it. But he's already referenced it. Like he knows he has it because he used it as a trick on Ron.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's weird that he like... Yeah. I think Harry has... what is it when you like object permanence problems? Like I feel like if he cannot see it, like if he has a refrigerator, if it's not right in the front of the refrigerator, it's getting moldy because he's forgotten that he has it. He can't do it.
Yeah.
Hermione, of course, is like, this. Who cares about what the prince thinks? Like you need to figure out. You just need to like manage to convince him that he has to give it to you.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I care what the prince thinks, because if I didn't read the prince's instructions, then Ron would be dead. Ron would be dead today. And Hermione says, if only you had listened to Snape in our first year, you would have known to use the Bezoar.
Yeah. So this is the second Snape reference we've gotten in regards to
She's really laying
knowledge.
it on thick. Yeah.
Yeah.
While he's flipping through the book, he's found a new fun spell that he wants to try on an enemy. Sectum Sempra. Wonder what that could be. We won't know in this chapter.
We won't find out.
Nope, but put it in your cap.
Yeah.
So here we go. They get back to the common room, and in the common room there's a new notice that says apparition tests are going to be held on April 21st for anyone who is 17 up to that point.
Yeah.
So they can take their apparition.
Yeah.
And now also, in order to ensure that they're ready for their apparition test, you can sign up for extra lessons that will be held in Hogsmeade under direct supervision. It has to happen in Hogsmeade because, well, we don't know why, but Hogsmeade, they haven't been able to go. We have to. They haven't been able to go to Hogsmeade because they've been like canceled because of the danger. Yeah. So that's why there's extra supervision. How do you? Okay, so the apparition test is April 21st. I'm sorry, I'm going to get on the weeds on this.
It's okay.
The apparition test is April 21st for everyone who's turned 17. But is it like they're just doing like a class test, and then like anyone after that, you turn 17, you just like write to the ministry and you schedule time separately with them? Like how does it work?
I don't know.
Does Harry have to wait? He doesn't wait. He learns to apparate. No. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
I don't think he ever actually tests though to apparate, right?
No.
Because he kind of spoiler, he goes AWOL. And we all go AWOL in the next book. We're all going to be in the forest for a really long time.
Yeah. I don't really know.
Not communing with the society.
Yeah. I don't really know because then do you just get a fine if you're apparating without a license? Is that what happens? Like, or it's just, you're just like kind of, it's just a risk to yourself because you haven't been approved.
Yeah, I don't know. That's all I could think about was I was like, what happens what happens for Harry? What happens for anyone whose birthday is after April 21st? And you know what? The person whose birthday is April 22nd, do you know how fucking annoying
I know. I'm sure they were like...
It's like Justin Finch Fletchley, and he's like, I've already been petrified in this fucking
school. He's like, I don't need this shit. Come on. Just let me apparate. I think the only one that passes in this book is Hermione, Adam. So Ron doesn't have his apparition license either.
Great.
And they're just apparating around the country.
Yeah. Just loosely.
Great. Yeah. Great.
So then Harry, again, he's still trying to figure out how to get the memory. Hermione's only advice is just that he has to like manage to sway Slughorn's opinion.
Apply to his better nature.
The graces.
Something like that. I was like, all right.
They're in the common room and they're working on a Dementor essay for Snape for Defense Against the Dark Arts.
Mm-hmm.
And Ron is finishing up his essay. Hermione and Harry have already finished. Mm-hmm. And Ron goes, "Hey, I think this word is spelled wrong," and it's fully wrong. And then Hermione looks over and is like, "Yeah, this word is spelled wrong too." And and then he's like, "I had this spell check quill that I got from Fred and George's shop, and it's not working anymore," which is so funny to me. And this is fine. This is fine. Haha, what a goofy little thing. It's a spell check quill. Fun, right?
Fun.
We're having a good time. Until we get to the next part when Hermione spends 20 minutes correcting Ron's spelling mistakes.
Yeah. You want to talk about labor. You want to talk about all the extra emotional and otherwise labor that women do. And that it's normalized.
Oh God, it's so normalized. And it's
Yeah.
all Hermione does in this book. And like there's sometimes it's one thing to be like, Hermione, can you read this before I turn it in? Because like I
Yeah.
think that's like fine to do with friends, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But like I also was like, she could have had Hermione teach the spell to correct the mistakes to Ron, who then could have done it himself.
Yeah. But there's like this narrative of like when women do that, or girl, you know, Hermione's a girl at this point, like when girls do that for boys that they like, it's seen as like, oh my gosh, that's so nice. But it's like, no, not for her.
Well, yeah, because he says, I love you, Hermione. And she like
that bothered,
blushes.
Yes. And that bothered me too, because I was like, you're saying you love her, but it's because she's doing something so you don't have
work
to do
for
it.
you.
Yes, like it's like.
And when has Ron ever reciprocated that?
Yeah, I know.
Ever.
I didn't like it. It was. This is the part where sometimes it is like annoying to have these realizations when you go back as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, because I'm like, I definitely remember being like, oh, sweet, like they are gonna end up together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, and to be clear, I am still happy like Ron and Hermione end up together, but I definitely don't think it would have happened if Ron hadn't like woken up, because I think she does an okay job of that to an extent. Like there are still some things that are problematic, like how he gets this little book of like how to talk to women. Do you remember that? Do you remember that? But for the most part, because he has like the wake up call of like realizing he did something bad and all, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff.
Girl, the way this chapter ends.
How does it end?
With Ron being like, women, they're so easily upset. And I was like,
yeah.
I don't know why. Why do we need it? Why?
That's right. Yeah.
You have thousands of words in the English language to put together whatever phrases and sentences you want, and that's the one you chose.
Also, this is like
as the like, haha.
This is also one of the few, I'm just remembering how the chapter ends now. This is one of the few times where there actually is like a Hermione being the voice of reason in a way, is like, oh, but you were all pressed because of like Madame Rosemerta not laughing at your joke. Typically, we don't even get that. Typically, it's just like Harry being like, women, and I hate being in this pink tea shop. And like, that's it. There's no like, you're being stupid, Harry. Like, there's no that. You know what I mean? Or like he was being dramatic, whatever. Anyways, yeah, it's annoying.
Meanwhile, in the conversation, as Hermione is doing labor for Ron, he's like, I wish I could just get rid of Lavender.
Oh my God. It just keeps getting worse. It just keeps getting worse.
I'm sorry, not Hermione. Ari. Ari, you have never watched Buffy, but there is one of the main characters, Xander. He is so like Ron in that he is kind of in love with Buffy, but like he always gets looked over because she doesn't like him back. She just likes him as a friend, and he kind of like has a grudge about it. And he's just kind of like, very often his storyline is just that he's like annoyed that he isn't getting Buffy, even though they're friends and he helps her out a lot and blah, blah, blah. But like he wants more and she doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of the time it's just treated like comically, but like watching it in like, even when I was watching it in college, I was like, oh God, this is exhausting.
So
and I can only imagine watching it in 2024. I would be like,
yeah. You were just
move
like,
on.
oh, put me out of my misery. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, Harry's like, why don't you just end it with her? He's like, which I was like, thank you, Harry. I'm surprised you even said that.
And then he's like, well, you don't know what it's like because you and Cho just kind of fell apart. Oh,
God, he just doesn't have any tact. I mean, Harry doesn't either, to be fair, but like, it's just like, Ron.
It's so bad.
What is up with you, dude?
So they're alone in the common room at this point. Everybody else has gone to bed, and Creature and Dobby snap into the room.
Yep.
And when I say that, I mean they're like,
yeah, strut.
They come into the room and they're here to give their report, which Harry is like, oh, I forgot to tell Hermione that I told house elves what to do. Oh no.
Oh yeah, set them out on my orders.
Yeah. And of course, Dobby's like, I haven't slept for weeks.
Wait. You need to mention the part, though, that Creature just came by himself. And then, like, Dobby shows up, like, a couple seconds late to be like, you need to tell me when we're coming to these meetings.
Yeah.
Like, he just, like, left him.
Yeah. I mean.
Oh, my God. This whole
I wouldn't tell Dobby anything either if I was Creature. I'd be like, listen, I have my. Oh, this is not a team project, girl.
Creature and Dobby, I don't like the house elf nonsense, to be clear, but I like
it's a funny dynamic.
The juxtaposition of Dobby and Creature is hilarious, and they do it so well in the movie.
It's the Odd Couple.
Too. In the movies. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Yeah, Dobby being like, I haven't slept for a week. I was like, oh my gosh. Poor little elf.
So they report in. Harry asks, like, what have you found out? And he's like, is Malfoy doing anything bad? And of course, Dobby used to work for Draco's family. Yeah. So he like has another one of the classic Dobby wants to like kill himself jokes. Ha! He tries to throw himself into the open fire.
Yeah. All while Creature's like, Draco Malfoy, the most noblest of young wizards. His bone structure resembles Bellatrix.
Yeah. It gets weird. It gets like, so weird.
So weird, so fast. I was like, and so Harry's fast. Like, yeah, we don't need to hear about how you're like in love with Draco. But I was like, that was like really weird how detailed he was.
Yeah. It was like when I was writing my fanfic about Draco. Yeah, that's kind of like the detail he is. So, anyway, they finally get out of them that Draco Crabbe and Goyle have been hanging out in the 7th floor corridor. And this is where Harry has the realization that, he's in the room of requirement.
Really quickly, though, did this surprise you? It was like an instant. You guys had been in that hallway. The thing that was really weird to me, Adam, is that like we hear about how they're walking through this hallway or corridor a lot. And then even when Harry goes to this corridor later.
They met the brass scales girly.
Yes, and the other girl with like, what was it? Toad,
whatever. Who cares?
Yeah, Toad stuff. Toad something. But it was just weird because I was like,
Toad spawn.
Okay, so this is a relatively like busy corridor because in my mind I was like, this corridor is off in the middle of nowhere, but no, because later when Harry goes in there yes, I was like, what? So then you walk past this all the time, and you've never had that thought. Like, I understand sometimes you can be like, oh my god, that was so obvious, like duh, but like. You were in the room of requirement last year.
You, and now when I say you, Joe Rowling, wrote that they were in the room of requirement last year, and he used the map last year. He knows. Yeah. This would not be news to him that the room is unplottable.
Yeah.
He would know that.
The map thing in particular is what like you're like, no, because they would know that because they used the map. Yeah, it's bizarre. Not the face.
It's just so annoying. So anyway, he figures out it's the room requirement.
Very quickly, instantly. When they mention the corridor and he's like, it's obviously the room of requirement.
Yes.
So strange.
And then Hermione immediately is like, well, you don't know. You won't be able to find the room because you don't know what he's using it for.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the only way to catch him in the room of requirement would it be if you, because like Malfoy got in last year because he knew they're meeting for Dumbledore's army. I need the room for Dumbledore's army. That's all he had to think when the room appeared.
He got
know
like
what Malfoy's using the room for, so he doesn't know how to get in.
Yeah.
That's Hermione's point. And Harry's like, doesn't matter. Room and I are old friends. Me and Room, we go way back.
Yeah. That room's going to let me in, okay? Oh.
I'm Harry Potter. So Harry's like, I'm not worried about that. I'm going to be able to get in. It's not a problem. And then okay, so he figures out that it's the room of requirement pretty quickly, which is like, okay, that's surprising.
Yeah.
But then he like immediately is like, they're using Polyjuice Potion on Crabbe and Goyle. And they're dressing up as like female students. And I was like, okay, all right.
Like two like very quick, like correct assumptions. Do you know what I mean? Like he like gets the answer like right away after all these months of like trying to figure it out. And I was like, I don't know about that. I think that's a little too convenient that in this chapter, like he's exactly right about both of those things instantly, when he definitely should have realized the room of requirement a while ago. And the Polyjuice Potion definitely should have taken longer, right? Unless Polyjuice Potion is just like a normal part of life now.
Well, is it supposed to, are we supposed to believe that the Polyjuice Potion they're using is the one that Slughorn had in the first day of class?
Well, that was the other thing that I was like, you're telling me there's not like an expiration date on Polyjuice Potion?
On Polyjuice, I'm sorry, love potions get more intense, but Polyjuice Potion is just like fine forever.
Forever.
It's got a preservative.
Was there a mention of Draco being close to the Polyjuice Potion or something?
No, and that's the other thing is this is now if it is that exact Polyjuice Potion, this is now the second book where it's set up that like someone steals Polyjuice Potion, or at least steals like ingredients to brew Polyjuice Potion.
Yeah.
Putting aside fully the second book when the main characters themselves have to do it because the potion has been introduced to us as readers.
Yeah.
Because this happened in book 4. And like, I get it. It's fine. It's just like, I wish we drew. I just don't see what them being not them is adding to this. I don't, because we haven't gotten any chapters. I guess they've been walking by these girls, but I don't know. I just was like, I don't know what the point of it. I don't get why they had to be different students.
Yeah.
Because Harry hasn't been checking for Crabbe and Goyle anyway. He's noticed them on the map, but he's never gone to like follow them or anything. He's just known that they were alone, but he didn't go follow them. And so like every other time they're disguised as the female characters, like
and like little girls.
Yeah. And I didn't. Yeah. And again, Joe can't. There's something about
these grown men.
They're dressing as, there's something insidious there for sure. And I don't.
Yeah.
I was just I don't know. I didn't even need it. Not even from that angle. I just was like, it doesn't really add anything.
No, I think it's just so it's like obvious. It's not obvious what he's, or that they're helping him or like what he's doing. But I'm like, I don't know if that was needed. We don't have another reason as to why they couldn't have just been Crabbe and Goyle.
Yeah.
Like, what was the reason of why they had to be random girls? Are they always different girls? So then they're constantly getting like random hair off like different first years or something? I don't know.
And like who are they supposed to look like? Like that's the other thing is like, aren't they doubles of another person?
Another student.
Then?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't even think it adds anything, and I actually think it would have been more interesting. If in my opinion, honestly, it would have been more interesting if Malfoy was trying to do this whole thing alone.
Yeah, right.
Because I think that is more. I think that's more true of the person who's like remove themselves from like society and like kind of becomes
like a lone wolf in that regard.
In that way, yeah. But fine.
But fine.
I don't think anyone reading this book, if there hadn't been the way, like, because they're supposed to like drop the scare, like it's like to make sure that Malfoy doesn't come out of the room too early if there's somebody like in the hallway or whatever. That's allegedly the point of why they're out there. But I don't think anybody reading this book would have been like, but what about if he has to come out of the room? Like, I don't think anyone reading that would have been like, oh, how does he know when to come out? Like, I guess somebody would have, but that would not have been my first guess.
Maybe it's more, the only thing I can think of is Draco wanted Crabbe and Goyle to disguise themselves so that they wouldn't, because Crabbe and Goyle are always associated with Draco.
Malfoy.
But then that would more lend it to your point of like, well, then he should have just been doing it like alone, all by himself, because that is more interesting and more like alienating for the character. Yeah.
So yeah, they're transforming into girls. They're sending signals of when he can come out or if he can't come out, basically. So next day at breakfast, that's what they find out from Creature and Dobby. Next day at breakfast, they learn in the Daily Prophet that Mundungus Fletcher has been sent to Azkaban for impersonating the fairy.
Sorry, how was he impersonating one? Like,
what do you like? Were you just like
fire spell on himself? Because there has to be a spell where you can like have fire be like all over you or something. Yeah.
I don't know.
There's got to be something like that. And then he just did that, but did it trying to like break into someone's house.
Yeah, just to steal some stuff.
What is wrong with him?
He's fully, we just watched Oliver for Showgaze, and he is like fully
Fagin.
Like Fagin, the Artful Dodger, grown up. Like,
the Artful Dodger. Okay, yeah. Yeah. He should have already been like kicked out of the order. I guess maybe he has a secret, so maybe that's why they don't want to. But I was like,
yeah.
What do you mean this guy is like in the main group of people you're asking for help within the order?
He knows way too much.
Yeah.
So Hermione is like, listen, I know you're excited about this new development on the Malfoy case, but here's the deal. You have to get this memory. You should not be wasting your time.
Once again,
on the room of requirement.
What's happening?
You're not going to be able to get in.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. I'm going to get the memory, but also I can do two things at once. And as we have learned in this book series, no, you can't. You can't.
You're Harry Potter.
You really cannot. So that's bold to think that you've learned how to do that. So he immediately, Ron has to like go finish his essay. Hermione's off to ancient runes or whatever. And so he's like, well, I've got some free time here. I guess I can go check out
down
the
to that corridor. Yeah.
He tries a bunch to get into the room to be like, I need to see what Malfoy is up to. I need to get into the Malfoy room. And like the room is fully like,
yeah.
No.
But like nails, like.
Sorry, we don't have any openings. I'm so sorry. We're all booked tonight.
No, sorry. Can't let you in. Sorry, fully booked.
Mr. Malfoy? Yes, we have your reservation right this way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Malfoy is Candy Muse sitting alone in the VIP booth. So stupid.
They go to Defense Against the Dark Arts. They turn in their essays. I do like the idea that Snape like waves his wand and all the essays fly onto his desk, which I was like, that's kind of chic.
Yeah.
Seamus Finnegan has a question about Professor Snape. Can you tell us the difference between a ghost and a fairy? And Snape is like, Well, you don't need to worry about it because Mundungus Fletcher was only pretending to be. And first of all, that wasn't the question, Diva.
Yeah.
The question wasn't about Mundungus Fletcher. Maybe had been maybe. But like Inferi has been in the conversation of this book for a while.
Yeah.
So Harry's like talking, and so Snape is like, but Harry seems to know everything because he won't shut the fuck up. So why don't you share with the class and tell us what the difference is? And Harry
actually knows a little bit about,
maybe not the most eloquent of speakers, right? I'll give Snape that, not. But if you're getting the point across and answering the question that was asked, which is what's the difference between a ghost and an Inferi? Mm-hmm. Harry gets it.
He's not wrong.
One is transparent and one is the body.
Yeah, a physical body like a fiery zombie.
Now, I would say as a teacher, Snape, it's actually your responsibility to have taught what the fucking Inferi is to begin with.
Wait, hold on. Why am I thinking Inferi they don't have fire, do they?
No, they do.
No. They're just a reanimated corpse.
Oh.
They don't have fire. Why was I thinking they have fire? Just because, oh God, the images of them from the movie are so scary. Sorry, that's my bad. I don't know why I thought they had fire. He does cast fire all around. Is it fire that is the only thing that defeats
fire
them?
That kills them. Yeah, that's what it is.
I was like, my brain knew there was
something
such
about
a link
fire.
with fire. Yeah. Is that what it is?
So yeah, they've been they're corpses. They've been reanimated.
Yeah.
Necromancy. Okay. Get into it.
Wait, this is so funny now, because now when we were talking about Mundungus Fletcher, I was like, yeah, and he'll just light himself on fire. And someone was like, what the fuck? What is she talking about?
You know.
Wait, but this is even funnier, because that means Mundungus probably just showed up to someone's house and was like,
in Halloween Horror Nights makeup. And
like zombie. Like a zombie impression.
Fully like,
getting stealing things.
Crazy.
I wonder how that person must have just not been very afraid. Like, you must not have done a very good impression then.
No, I feel like I would not say Mundungus Fletcher is one of the great actors of our time.
No, hardly.
No.
He probably was even like a little drunky.
I bet Meryl could do it. I bet Meryl could pull off being an Inferi. Daniel Day-Lewis, maybe. I just don't see Mundungus.
He's retired.
Well, yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix, for sure.
Yeah. So then, like, Ron comes to Harry's defense, and Snape is like,
good point.
Oh, that's it. Like, oh, that's the difference. Is like blah blah. And Ron's like, but he's answering what the question was. I don't know. Why are you fucking mad about it, bro?
Yeah, he's like, that would be the most helpful information for us to know in the moment,
right?
If we came across one.
And then Snape is like, well. Just like, again, this is the part of Snape that it's like, you should not be in an environment with people, let alone teenagers.
Yeah.
Because he's like, well, you're so fucking thick, you can't even apparate across a room, girl.
Also, sorry, Snape, how do you know this, like, information about Ron? You're paying attention to these kids that much?
Yeah.
Do you know if I was a teacher, I would be like, I would be present with the students when I was there. But then as soon as I would be gone, I would be like, gone. I would not care about what the students were doing if I was not like teaching them a class. I would be like, good luck, guys. Have fun. Prove that he just needs a life.
Or to not be alive. Either one is fine with me at this point.
God.
So that puts Ron in a funk. Hermione's like, stop. Don't get into it. You're gonna get in trouble. So they finish class. They leave. Ron and Harry, by the way, go to the boys' bathroom because Ron is like
to get
a little
away
upset.
from Lavender. Mm-hmm.
To get away from Lavender, yes. Because Lavender's like, that was so mean what Snape said to you. And he's like, fuck off, Lavender. And then
and then he's
away.
annoyed with her. This is I feel bad for Lavender in this book, and I feel bad for Hermione. Like, this is just, Ron is such a piece of shit. It's just like, no one get involved with him.
Never ending. So while they're in the boys' bathroom, Myrtle's there.
Yeah.
She's just touring the castle's bathrooms.
Just wandering around, checking out the architecture.
Oh, I thought you were him. He comes to cry a lot. Soft boy energy.
Soft boy energy. But this is also another, like, you got these two things so instantly in this chapter, and you're already thinking about Malfoy so much that you wouldn't immediately be like, oh, Malfoy?
Yeah.
Who are you talking about? Because he was like a young boy, and then she was like, never mind. But I was like, I felt like there should be an inner monologue.
They're all young to Myrtle. Myrtle's been dead for years. You're all young.
I think Myrtle's relatively young, or was relatively young when she died, though. So she might be.
She's just stuck at her. She's like, oh, everybody's still.
She could be younger than.
Age.
Yeah, she could be like a 12 or a 13-year-old. I don't know.
So that's what we find out from Myrtle. The rest of the conversation really has nothing to do with anything, because after Ron makes fun of the dead ghost, he feels better enough to be in a good mood. The dead girl ghost. He gets to make fun of her.
Oh, Ron.
So then we cut straight to Ron and Hermione are going to Hogsmeade because they're doing these practice sessions.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Harry can't go because his birthday is in July. Mm-hmm. So he's stuck at the castle, and he's like, well, I have two options.
Obviously. Yeah.
I could try to get the memory. Or now wait a minute.
Hold on.
Have you considered I just walk around the 7th floor corridor some more? Why not? So he sees on the map that Goyle is outside the corridor. So he's like, definitely Draco's inside.
Is in there.
For sure.
Yeah.
So he goes to the corridor. He wears his invisibility cloak. He goes in the corridor. He sees the little girl that's Goyle holding the brass scales. He sneaks up next to her and is like, boo.
Oh, you so pretty. Oh, you was the pretty little girl, is what he says. Yeah, I know. So then
Goyle screams, drops the scales, and runs away.
Yeah.
So then Malfoy has like, I can't leave now.
Knows, that's
the tip that someone's outside. So he's like, haha, I've caught him for sure. And then
fails.
Nothing happens. The door doesn't, again, we're not getting in. So he goes up to the door to kick it. Or kick the wall where the door should be. Because he kicked it. He hurts his foot. He swears. I did like this, that a group of first years was just walking by the corridor and they heard the swear in the hallway and they ran away scared.
Yeah. That's what I mean, though, that I was like, there's people like walking around this corridor all the time, apparently.
Yeah. And also, I assumed this was like nighttime.
Yeah, no, it's just in the day.
Just
could be
like a
2 in the
Tuesday?
Afternoon. Yeah.
Is this a weekend? Is it like...
I think it's a weekend. If they went to... Well, actually, no, because they could have gone to Hogsmeade. Apparition stuff? Would that be... Probably not in the school day?
Maybe it's a bank holiday.
Yeah. Yeah. The Gringotts, they enforce the normal UK bank holidays.
Yeah. They're like, listen, we need a day off.
Yeah.
So then he runs into Tonks. Tonks is in the hallway.
Yeah.
And this is
not
the
doing very
weirdest. Well. It is the weirdest conversation I've ever read between two characters in a book series in my entire life. I have to read a part of it because this is, you have often talked about the frustrating thing about living in Britain and people just not saying what they want to say. And this is like peak that. And I was like, if this is really what it's like, I would shoot myself.
Yeah.
In the time, said Tonks, who didn't seem to be listening to him. You haven't had any letters from anyone in the Order recently? No one from the Order writes to me anymore, said Harry, not since Sirius. He saw that her eyes had filled with tears. I'm sorry, he muttered awkwardly. I mean, I miss him as well. What? Said Tonks blankly, as though she had not heard him. Well, I'll see you around, Harry.
Girl was fully like in her own head. There was no
fully.
yeah.
Just gone.
Yeah.
There was a level of like, oh, Tonks is out of it. And there was another level of like, Joe didn't know what to do with the conversation.
So she was just like, oh, I haven't laid some little breadcrumbs about Tonks and Lupin in a minute. I guess I should add something else in here. Yeah.
So that's all that happens with the hallway. No, he can't get in. The end. The end of the story. Tonks goes to see Dumbledore, but he's not there.
Yeah.
Oh, that too.
But she like
Tonks,
knew he wasn't there or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So later, Ron and Hermione come back. He tells them about running into Tonks. He tells them about the whole thing. And then Harry's deduction from this scenario. Okay?
Yeah.
Because because her eyes filled with tears at the mention of her dead.
Yeah, they keep not mentioning that they were cousins. I was like, y'all, they're cousins. They're related. Oh, wait, Adam. I think your mic came unplugged.
They are blood related. They are
closely
related by marriage. Like this is blood related.
Because Bellatrix is his direct cousins, and so that would mean Tonks's mother is his direct cousin. So that means Tonks is his like second cousin.
Yeah,
still too close.
Way too close.
Way too close. Yeah,
way
you got
to be
like
to be casually dropping what Harry says, which is, I think she was in love with him.
Yeah. And also, this is I didn't even think about this until this moment. Is he making all these like deductions, as you say, to throw us, the reader, off? Because some of his deductions are like 100% correct and on it, and then these are like so off. So I'm like, how is he able to like get it so easily with some of these things, and then other stuff, it's like, okay, you are so far off the mark. It's really bizarre.
It's so weird. It's so weird to be like, the thing he decides is that she's hot for her cousin. Of all the things, and that would not be the first thing I would go to. You know what the first thing I would go to is? She's actually still experiencing grief over losing her cousin. That's what I would, maybe for me.
Yeah.
That's what I would go with.
And she feels guilty. Yeah.
But no, because Harry's a horny teenager. He's like, oh, it's got to be that she wanted to bone him.
She wanted to get that Padfoot dick. Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
I also feel like, again, Ron is being so insensitive because he's like, oh, I just like reckon she's like losing her nerve. I was like, Ron, do you have no empathy for like a traumatic experience? Of course you don't, because your like traumatic experience is like missing a goal in Quidditch. Also, Ron, you nearly almost died. You were almost poisoned. Like, what, 2 chapters ago? Was it the last chapter where he got out? I was like, what?
Yeah, it was the last chapter. Your sister and father have both almost died.
Yeah. I don't know.
But he just can't.
I mean, I guess when you're a teenager, you just try not to think about it. But I'm like, even when I was a teenager, I don't think I would say something like, oh, I guess they're just losing their nerve.
She's just going crazy.
Yeah, like, yeah.
Well, these women, they're hysterical.
Just so sensitive.
So that leads us to Ron saying women, quote, women, they're easily upset. Which already was like, please get a grip. Please.
You're the one that was sucking at Quidditch, and you were literally taking it out on the entire team so badly that Harry was like, look, you're my friend, but I'm going to kick you off this team if you stop acting like this, or if you can't stop acting like this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And then
you
Hermione,
are not one to talk.
I'm happy that Hermione gets a retort. And
yeah, usually we don't even get that.
I doubt you'd find a woman who sulked for half an hour because Madame Rosmerta didn't laugh at their joke about the hag, the healer, and the Mimbulus Mimbletonia. Ron scowled. Let's just get to the end of the book.
Yeah. It's giving the whole like it's giving the women can't be in positions of power because they're too emotional. But then there's like a perfect example of like men being like completely unhinged for no goddamn good reason.
Yeah, we're losing the plot. We're spinning our wheels. So let's just keep going. And that's it. That's the chapter.
That's it. That's a chapter. One of the little shorties. One of the little shorty chapters. Thank you, Adam, for that. That was lovely.
You're welcome.
All right, that wraps up this chapter. Next week we'll be reading chapter 22, After the Burial. We have 2 comments. The first one is from Paper Star Girl. She says, I'm crying at Adam thinking I might be referring to myself in the third person as a fan instead of referring to my alt's actual infant, which was not what I meant. He left a 6-month-old. Or which was what I meant. He left a 6-month-old, but also funny that there is a K-pop fandom called Baby, not my fandom to be clear, making this a realistic scenario. Yeah, I love that. What is it's like, which group has Baby? Is their fandom? Do you remember? I know, New Jeans is Bunnies.
BAP.
B what? BDP?
BAP. BAP.
BAP. Okay, BAP. Oh yeah, this is so relevant to Paper Star Girl because Jung-on did his like last little V Live, or I guess I shouldn't say V Live anymore. Now it's Weverse Live, isn't it? He did his last live today and I watched it. And then we also have the second comment. The other comment is from, I hope I'm saying this correct. I believe that it's Ida Amelia H. I think that's correct. Ida said, I'm so effing mad at myself for starting this HP series so late with you guys when I found the Ampliverse account through Boys Planet. I love when we have a Boys Planet. Yeah, a crossover fan for Boys Planet. Hi. But I need to start this apparently years-long video podcast diary. Mad mostly because I would have loved to go through each chapter week by week since I haven't opened my now rotten in the attic HP books. Very much enjoying these posts. Love you both, my fellow anxious millennials. We're so happy to have you here, Ida. Sorry you have to go through the backlog, though.
I know that's so many.
Sorry. But at least then you always have something you can kind of like put on in the background. That's what I think. I'm like, I feel like our stuff is like
noise.
Yeah, like prime if you're like doing laundry or just like washing dishes, something like that where you just need something on that you occasionally will want to look at the screen, but like you can
tending to the garden.
Oh, yeah. Is that what you came up with?
Yeah. Tending to the garden.
Not right now. It's literally pouring outside here. Is it still raining in Chicago?
A little bit. No, it's kind of like sprinkling.
Pouring. Thank you for your kind words and your comments. We love hearing what you guys think. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you find your podcasts, as well as video versions on the Ampliverse YouTube channel and Spotify. As always, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe so that we can get a perfect Newt score. 5 stars only, or else.
Period. Or else period.
Or else, period.
Or else you'll have to talk to a hysterical woman who's upset about not being able to bone her cousin.
Oh, see, I was going to say you'll have to talk to Ron.
Yeah, you'll have to
deal with Ron. Yeah. God. You'll have to deal with book 6 Ron, everyone's nightmare. It was Harry in book 5 and it's Ron in book 6.
Yeah. Hermione never has a book.
She doesn't, because women aren't allowed. They just have to be nice all the time. It really, do you know what I mean though? It's just like, but women have to just somehow keep it together.
I was just talking, what was I talking about this with? The thing of being, what were we talking about this with? I don't remember, but it was, I was having a conversation with someone. We were talking about we were talking to guests on our doing whatever, how girls mature faster. But is it that girls mature faster, or is it like society expects them to mature faster?
It is 100% that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HPAnxious or YouTube and TikTok at the Ampliverse. The Ampliverse is getting very close to 10K, y'all. So if you know anyone that would appreciate the channel, send them our way. We are hosted on Spotify for podcasters, so thank you to them, and are a proud member of the Ampliverse. Check them out at theampliverse.com. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Ari.
And as always, you're very pretty, aren't you? The scales.
It's the scales.